Choosing between a soft life and a hard life works exactly like calibrating a guitar string. Too tight, it snaps. Too loose, it makes noise but no music. The moment you find the right tension, that's where the melody lives. Once you see it this way, you cannot unsee it. Here's the thing nobody tells you. You've been handed a broken framework your entire life. You were told suffering is the price of greatness. Grind harder, sleep less, sacrifice everything. And on the other side, the soft life crowd tells you to protect your peace, outsource the struggle, choose comfort every single time. But both of those camps are selling you something incomplete. Because here's the question that's going to follow you through this entire video. What if the real skill isn't choosing hard or soft? What if it's knowing which one to choose and exactly when? Stay with me. This changes everything. In 2019, a Stanford researcher named Alia Crum published findings that reframed how psychologists think about stress entirely. Her data showed that stress wasn't inherently harmful. The belief about stress was the variable that determined outcomes. People who believed stress was useful performed better, lived longer, and reported higher life satisfaction. People who believed all stress was bad, the opposite. That study was cited over 1,400 times in 3 years. Here's why that matters for you right now. If you're grinding through suffering that isn't producing results, you're not building character. You're building resentment and burnout. And if you're avoiding all discomfort in the name of peace, you're not protecting yourself. You're slowly shrinking your capacity for growth. Both roads, taken blindly, lead to the same place, a life that feels off. You deserve better than a coin flip philosophy. Let's dig into what's actually happening. On the surface level, the soft life versus hard life debate looks like a lifestyle war. You scroll TikTok and you see two armies. On one side, 5 a.m. club, cold plunges, no days off, David Goggins quotes over black and white footage of someone running in the rain. On the other side, girl dinner, quiet luxury, setting boundaries. No, I won't do that, it doesn't serve me. And both sides have millions of followers. Both sides have testimonials. Both sides have merchandise. So which one is right? Neither. And both. Here's the surface-level truth most people miss. The soft life content you're watching was produced by someone who worked a 14-hour day to film, edit, and upload it. And the hard life grind content you're watching? That creator goes home to a comfortable house, a personal chef, and an assistant who manages their schedule. The aesthetic is not the reality. What you're consuming is a performance, not a prescription. Go one level deeper and something interesting shows up. The people who are actually winning, and I mean sustainably winning, not just performing winning, they all have one thing in common. They've audited their suffering. Let me give you a specific example. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, has talked publicly about how he structures his life to remove friction from his high-value work and deliberately adds friction to his low-value habits. He doesn't make healthy eating hard. He makes junk food hard. He doesn't make writing painful. He makes distraction painful. That's not a soft life. That's not a hard life. That is a strategic life. The discomfort is intentional. It has a job. Here's the framework that changes everything. Productive discomfort versus performative suffering. Productive discomfort builds something. A skill, a muscle, a relationship, a business. Performative suffering is pain you tolerate because someone told you that's what strong people do. One has ROI, the other is just pain. Here's the root of the problem, and it goes back further than Instagram. In 1899, sociologist Thorstein Veblen introduced the concept of conspicuous consumption. The idea that humans signal status through visible sacrifice or visible luxury. Over 120 years later, nothing has changed except the platform. Grinding publicly signals discipline. Soft living publicly signals success. Neither is about what actually serves your growth. It's about what signals the right things to the right audience. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. You have absorbed both signals. There is a part of you that feels guilty when you rest, because rest looks weak. And there is a part of you that feels guilty when you push hard, because hustle culture is supposedly toxic now. You've been caught in a pendulum between two performance-based identities, and neither one was ever actually about you. The root cause is not laziness. It's not lack of discipline. It's that you've been optimizing for the optics of a life instead of the architecture of one. Most self-improvement content stops at motivation. It tells you to work harder or to rest more, and then it leaves you to figure out the middle part alone. Here's what the top 1% of high performers actually do that nobody puts in the thumbnail. They run what I call a suffering audit. Not monthly, not annually, weekly. They look at every area of friction in their life and ask 2 questions. Question 1, is this discomfort building something specific and measurable? Question 2, is this comfort protecting something specific and necessary? If the answer to question 1 is yes, the discomfort stays. If the answer is no, they eliminate it ruthlessly. If the answer to question 2 is yes, the ease stays. If it's no, they introduce challenge deliberately. Naval Ravikant said it this way in a 2020 podcast interview. Specific knowledge is knowledge you cannot be trained for. The same principle applies to your schedule, your energy, your choices. What's hard for you to maintain because it's genuinely building you? That's your competitive advantage. What's hard because it's just chaos in disguise? That's just waste. So here's the complete picture, and it's simpler than the internet wants you to believe. Life is not a binary. It was never soft or hard. It was always a calibration. Think back to that guitar string. The professional musician doesn't guess. They don't eyeball it. They tune deliberately. They test the sound, and they adjust. Every single time they pick it up. That's the practice. The full picture is this. Strategic ease is not laziness. It's systems design. When you automate the decisions that don't matter, what to eat, when to sleep, how to structure your morning, you free up cognitive and emotional bandwidth for the challenges that actually move your life forward. And strategic discomfort is not punishment. It's investment. When you choose the hard conversation, the early morning, the difficult skill, the uncomfortable feedback, you are depositing into a version of yourself that compounds over time. The lie you were sold was that you had to choose a camp. You don't. You need a compass. Here's exactly what to do starting today. Step 1. Run your suffering audit this week. Take 15 minutes and write down every source of friction or discomfort in your current life. Every single one. Work stress, relationship tension, health habits, financial pressure, daily routines. Write them all down. Step 2. Next to each one, write either the letter B for building or the letter D for draining. B means this discomfort is producing something measurable in your life. D means it's costing you without paying you back. Step 3. For everything labeled D, ask yourself one question. Is there a smarter design that removes this friction without removing the growth? Most of the time, the answer is yes. And this is exactly where I want to mention something that genuinely helped me build this habit. I've been using an app called Reflectly for my daily journaling practice. It uses AI-guided prompts that are specifically designed to help you identify patterns in how you're feeling versus what you're actually doing. The prompts it generates helped me realize I was grinding through 3 specific areas of my life that had 0 ROI on my actual goals. I'll link it below. It's not magic, but it is a tool that makes the audit easier to actually do consistently. Step 4. Redesign deliberately. Add friction where you need growth. Remove friction where you need momentum. Tune the string, then play the music. Here's the final thought I want to leave you with. The people who told you suffering builds character weren't entirely wrong, but they left out the most important word. Intentional suffering builds character. Random suffering just builds scar tissue. You now have a framework that most people never develop. The question is whether you'll use it or whether you'll scroll to the next video and let this be another piece of content that almost changed something. If this shifted your thinking even a degree, share it with someone who's either grinding themselves into the ground or shrinking themselves into comfort. Both of them need to hear this. Subscribe if you want frameworks like this every week. And drop in the comments. Are you currently in a hard life phase or soft life phase? And is it actually serving you? I read every single comment in the first hour. Let's talk down there. Disclaimer. This video is for educational and motivational purposes only. Results vary by individual circumstances, mindset, and effort. Nothing in this video constitutes professional psychological, medical, or therapeutic advice. If you are experiencing burnout, chronic stress, or mental health challenges, please consult a qualified professional.